Can you try turning that?
Yeah. So we are good.
Yes. Your YouTube speed light. The YouTube speed light. So if I'm to stream the video, what? For 3 minutes. Yeah. But if I leave it to download. Okay.
So you are ready?
Yeah.
So good afternoon, everyone. So today we have Sarah Kabira, who is an experienced lady per se. She'll be sharing with us much that we need to take our products to the next level. Also, those of you who have pitched on ideation, you'll be able to know what next after pitching. So I would like to welcome Sarah Kabira, so she can start. Welcome, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. So I want this as much as possible to be an interactive session. So I'm going to be sharing with you my experiences in terms of developing products in the market. So I've largely done work in the telco space. So I've worked at Safaricom, I've worked at Vodafone in the UK, I've worked in Virgin Media in the UK as well. So my experience is around developing products. I have no idea about coding. I have no idea about doing engineering, but actually I did my computer science degree here. But from then, I branched into a completely different area, which is more about developing a product around your technology, which is what I wanted to share with you today. I'm sure I can learn a lot from you guys in terms of how you're developing the products you're doing. And I've seen you actually doing some amazing stuff. And I'm looking forward to working with some of you guys in terms of developing products and taking them to the market. And actually taking the next step in terms of how you'll be able to create some kind of big names in the industry. So what I wanted to start with first was actually a video. So, okay, it seems to have loaded. So this is a concept that I'm very passionate about, and it's actually what I'm working on right now. And I wanted to share this with you, see if it triggers some kind of ideas for you guys, and see if it can contribute to the work you're doing right now. So it's a concept around Internet of Everything. So Internet of Everything is actually being able to connect the previously unconnected devices and machines to the internet. Actually, is it clearer this way or with the lights on? With the lights on, it's clearer. Okay. Is that clear? So this is just an idea of how you can be able to create innovation through collaborating with your customer. So basically, Internet of Everything is about connecting previously unconnected devices, people, processes, data. So so for instance, you would have your machines on a factory floor, which are not traditional IT machines. They are not traditionally connected to the internet. You'd have those type of machines being connected to the internet and generating data and interesting insight for stakeholders and different business users. So that's what the Internet of Everything is. And I wanted to share this with you to see if you guys can come up with some ideas later on after I do a presentation. Oh, is that loud enough actually? Is that loud enough? We need a speaker.
Service as a winner. Think about it. Only 1% can be connected, is connected today. Imagine the possibilities. The internet, everything has arrived and is ready to change the world.
Can I just stop that again?
Cities. The competition between cities will continue to grow economically, environmentally, and socially. The cities that embrace technology will surface as the winners.
Think about it. Only 1% of what can be connected is connected today. Imagine the possibilities. The internet of everything has arrived and is ready to change the world.
Cisco is extremely excited about utilizing data by connecting its things with city Wi-Fi. Barcelona has created users, richer experience, and unprecedented technology opportunities for both businesses and consumers. Barcelona is social and able to make social possible. We face in Barcelona the very same problems that so what tackle those problems with technology? What we're trying to put in place is a common solution for all the cities of the world.
It is estimated that 40% of traffic in city centres is caused by cars trying to find a parking space. Now, in-ground parking sensors communicate with devices in cars to help vehicle owners quickly find an available spot.
These sensors in parking spots allow us to get less cars, less traffic, people coming, so that the city becomes more livable place. We have to make it possible for people to understand that into a contact full people can find information both about products, information here,
Barcelona citizens not only enjoy the smart bus stop experience, but are also able to maintain their Wi-Fi connectivity while on the bus or underground train. This allows citizens to get the same sensation of connectivity as they get at home. Understanding that much of the city's integration comes from placement of constant lighting, Barcelona is installing high-efficient streetlights which allow people to manage the same energy, optimize maintenance, and provide a safe environment.
Sorry, actually, I think we'll rewind it. So basically what this concept is about, how you'll be able to create innovation around connecting devices that are previously unconnected. So for instance, your buses, your garbage cans, your streetlights, your parking, these are areas that are not connected to the internet as yet. So imagine the possibilities when you connect those different unconnected places to the internet, and what you can be able to do with that in terms of applications you can be developed, in terms of data you'll be able to get, in terms of improving efficiency of your entire city. So that's what this is basically about. Let me just play that again. Yeah,
As the world continues to urbanize, with 180,000 people a day moving into cities, the competition between cities will continue to grow economically, environmentally, and even socially. Cities that embrace technology will surface as the winners.
Think about it. Only 1% of what can be connected is connected today. Imagine the possibilities. The internet of everything has arrived and is ready to change the world.
Cisco is extremely excited about Barcelona because the city is utilizing the internet of everything. By connecting its people and things to a city Wi-Fi, Barcelona is creating new services, richer experiences, and unprecedented economic opportunity for its people, for its businesses, and for its partners.
Barcelona is a social dream, and technology is able to make this social dream possible.
We face in Barcelona the very same problems that every city in the world faces. So we want to tackle those problems with technology. What we're trying to put in place is a common solution for all the cities of the world.
It is estimated that 40% of traffic in city centres is caused by cars trying to find a parking space. Now, in-ground parking sensors communicate with devices in cars to help vehicle owners quickly find an available spot.
Putting sensors in parking spots allow us to get less cars, less traffic, people happy, so that the city becomes a more livable place.
We have to make it possible for people to understand that internet might be changing their daily life to improve it.
We transform the experience of wasting your time waiting for the bus into a full contact with the city. People can find information on routes for the bus, plus information on the area, business, commerce, shows.
Barcelona's citizens not only enjoy the smart bus stop experience, but are also able to maintain their Wi-Fi connectivity while on the bus or underground train. This allows citizens to get the same sensation of connectivity as they get at home. Understanding that much of a city's energy waste comes from less than optimal use of lighting, Barcelona is installing highly efficient streetlights which are dynamically managed to save energy, optimize maintenance, and provide a safe environment for citizens. A city-wide network of sensors provides city officials with concrete information so that they can make decisions based on real-time data.
Getting information on the flow of citizens, on noise, on pollution, on traffic, and weather conditions allows cities to streamline the city operations, reduce costs, and also improve overall sustainability. Economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental sustainability.
Barcelona can generate a blueprint of what cities can become, and this is what gives full sense to what we're doing in Barcelona right now.
Technology is for people. Technology is for using it, and technology is for improving citizens' lives. We are sure that the Barcelona of the future will be even much better than it is now.
Smart cities represent places where people will want to live. By connecting the unconnected, cities will be completely transformed. These are the cities that will harness the power of the Internet of Everything.
Right, so that is an example of an innovation. So in terms of an opportunity for you guys to be able to create smart and connected cities, smart and connected companies, smart and connected whatever you can think of. So I want you to keep that in mind as we do the presentation. Okay, so in basically the world we're living in right now, the customer expectations have drastically changed. And over the decades, organizations are expected to meet the customer's needs and expectations at each and every interaction. So right from the stage where you're creating an idea, to the stage where you've launched it and you have a mature product, customers are expecting you to involve them in the entire process. And the ability to deliver this depends on your level of customer centricity. So I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you have heard of Uber. You've heard of Uber. So Uber has this huge PR nightmare right now because basically during one of the huge weather storms in New York, they hiked the prices of the cab ride. So it means that people were not expecting for them to be able to increase, they were not understanding the Uber's price model. So they had to basically adjust to what the customers were complaining about, even though in the taxi industry, that's a normal practice. That's a normal practice to have different prices depending on the environment, depending on the times and everything. But they had to listen to the customer. Of course, most of the time it's not in such a big way. It could just be you start to receive so many customer complaints because what part of your network has gone down. It could be different things. So that's why you have to involve the customer right from the beginning. Uber is not a very old company. It's a maybe 2 years, 3 years. It's not been there for quite a long time, but they're actually still facing this situation where they actually have to involve the customer. So this is about me. It's boring. I've worked at these different companies. I've worked at Vodafone, Virgin Media, Safaricom, and mostly done products for the customers. I've worked, so most of them have been focused on enterprise customers rather than the consumer-facing products. So for instance, products that would be able to, in the retail side, so I've worked on machine-to-machine products, I've worked on Internet of Everything products, focused mostly on the enterprise side. And I've done my master's at Cambridge University in technology policy. So what are the thing I want to drive here is that different challenges that are happening in terms of being able to be innovative in business. And that means at this point in time, we have to be innovative in how we innovate. So the challenges that are happening here is that it's impossible to predict how an innovation will shape their societal practices. So for instance, in the video in Barcelona, the smart buses are actually allowing, are improving the efficiency of people's lives day to day. We now have a huge project to have contactless payments on matatus. So you don't know how that innovation will be taken. You don't know how it will shape the societal concerns. So that's quite a huge challenge for companies and startups that are actually developing these practices. It also demands innovative business models and product offerings. So you, for instance, you can't be doing the traditional style of doing your software development. You probably have to do some type of prototyping and responding to the customer's demands as it happens. And you also have to be open to innovation. So for the time I was at Safaricom was very open to different companies innovating. In fact, from the last 7 years, they actually closed down the research and development department because they're mostly depending on outside innovation to actually fuel its growth. Because from the last few years, I haven't seen anything that's Safaricom only product. It's through partnerships, through collaborating with startups, through innovating with different partners. So the demands for innovative business models have changed drastically. And now there are more powerful ways to reach beyond conventional boundaries. So with your phones, it's so much easier to be able to communicate with your customer through Twitter, through social media, all these different avenues. So it's so much easier to be able to tap into the customer's needs. And also new technologies and innovations spark meta-innovation. So for instance, BMW now is able to, they have like SIM cards, Vodafone SIM cards inside the car. So you can be able to see how your car is doing. So the health of the car on your phone, you can be able to see if the tire pressure is low. You can be able to see if your fuel needs to be refueled. So these type of new technologies have been able to spark meta innovations within bigger innovations. Because BMW as a car itself is an innovation. But within it, two different what do you call it, industries merge to be able to create an innovation together. So from the service provider, that's Vodafone, from the automobile industry is BMW, and they merge to form an innovation together. And that's the way things are going right now. From finance, there are now financial tools that can be able to assist you to be able to do, for instance, pricing for your software. To be able to know what your cash flow would be in the next 5 years. When will you break even? When will you, what do you need to charge the customer to be able to recoup your investment? So there are so many financial tools right now. So with all these challenges, there's a need for you to be innovative. If you paraphrase what Charles Dickens says, at this moment in time, it's the best of times and the worst of times for innovation, because it's the best of times because there are all these tools, there are all these things that you can be able to use, but it's also the worst of times in terms of the challenges in the business model you need to use. For a big company, you need to look outside to get your innovation. Otherwise, you end up in this circle of investing in R&D, new products, invest back in R&D, and you never see returns on that cycle. So you have to think about platforms and ecosystems rather than thinking about the normal traditional R&D. So an example of an open innovation versus closed is Lucent and Cisco. I don't know if you've heard of, has anyone heard of this? No? No one? Okay. So Lucent in around 1996 basically had a strategic weapon in Bell Labs. So this is the time when they broke out from AT&T and they were fighting in the telecommunications equipment market with Cisco. Cisco at this time was maybe 10 years old, and they had come into the market with a huge R&D lab, which had come out of Alcatel, out of AT&T. AT&T is like the big boy in American telco space. So, but for Lucent, their strategy was to develop, they devoted amounts of resources into exploring new materials, state-of-the-art components and systems within the R&D lab. But for Cisco, they actually looked outside of the company. So they acquired new companies, they partnered with people to be able to spark that innovation. And as you can tell, this is a company you don't hear of much anymore. Cisco is still the #1 in the telecommunications equipment market. So Procter & Gamble is another company that did that, which was basically developed a connect and develop vision, where it was basically innovating through different connections. So connections through technology councils, through universities, through common practice, through trade partners, through very different alliances. So they use different ways to do innovation, and 35% of their products, like the last 2 years, came from that. So that's a huge percentage for a company that was largely closed. It's a huge percentage of their products. So other examples are Salesforce. Anyone heard of that? Salesforce.com. Really, really popular sales platform. And their model is, we're giving you this cloud-hosted platform, and you use it and you pay us as you use the service. So it's software as a service. Visa, same thing. The credit card payments business. And now actually, with Barclaycard Visa, you can actually get like a chip which you can put on your phone and do contactless payments in like Starbucks and different coffee shops. So they're actually moving into more mobile payments actually. Google, the advertising business, not heard of before. Mobile advertising is something that's been coming for a long time, and Google has really been the leader in that. Facebook, no-brainer, Lee and from the supply chain orchestration. Yes? So it's basically how you create your business model and your ecosystem around in a different way. So for instance, if you look at Salesforce, they went into a market that was traditionally, you buy a software, you download it, and you pay for a license. So they decided to shape their product into a different way so that they can be able to capture a different type of market. So it's more around which ecosystem are you building? Which business model are you using to go to market? So it's more your go-to-market strategy and how you package your products to the market. So I won't bore you with this, but this is just the normal, what's your product development process? So it's your entire set of activities that require bringing a new concept to a state of market readiness. So for different companies, there are different approaches to do your new product development. When I was at Safaricom, the approach was basically to do research and development. They come up with a product, and then from research and development, it moves into an IT team. The IT team then do some kind of implementation, do some prototypes, test it with a customer, then you launch it. So the marketing team then take the product and launch it. In Vodafone, though, it was mostly a combination of the stage gate process. Have you heard of that? The stage gate process. It's kind of similar to this, but at each of these stages, you have different outputs and inputs which you need to present to a board, present to stakeholders, and at that stage, you're given the go-ahead to continue. So the stage gate process allows you to have better control of which ideas are failures really quickly, which ideas need to go ahead, which ideas need more funding. So you're able to have that. But if you want to go to market faster, the stage gate approach doesn't work because you need to be able to respond quicker to customers' needs. So that's why there's a combination of the stage gate process and Agile methodology. So Vodafone combines those two into one product development process. So with the Agile methodology, which you probably all heard about, you will basically have every single week you have tasks you're going to do, and you sign them off at the end of the week, present them to the customer. So you're able to react faster to the customer. And in fact, that's probably the best way when you're developing products in that customer-centric way. Because you're able to know at each and every stage what the customer is thinking about your product. Because the worst thing you want is at the end of it, they tell you, you built me a Toyota, but I wanted that thing. You want to make sure that you meet the customer's needs through this. So this is just the process in different stages. So there's the idea generation and screening. I'm sure you've seen all of this. But I guess the one I want to focus on here is these two. The test marketing and commercialization. So for the test marketing, do you often do that? Have you guys done that? Actually, how many of you here are doing some kind of development, how to start? How many of you here are doing that? Okay. So good. Okay. How do you do that?
This segment of the customer
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. You guys. So quite different approaches. And all work very well. I think the main issue that comes with this test marketing is in terms of what do you do with that feedback after it comes back from the customer? What do you do with it? So, because sometimes the feedback that you may get from the customer may be biased, it may be maybe you didn't get the right product set, the right customer set, or you didn't get, or it may not be right. So I'll give you an example of, I don't know if the M-Pesa story, in terms of how they did the trials. Have you heard about that? So the trials for M-Pesa were done in Faulu, Kenya. So Faulu, Kenya is basically the microfinance and all of that. So M-Pesa was supposed to be like to pay for loans, to be able to add money to your account, and to basically for microfinance. That's what it was for. So it was given to a few people, they called Kenyan, and they were told to start to use it. But within the trial, basically they realized that no one was paying their loans for it, using it. No one was actually paying into their account to use it. But they didn't just leave it at that. They went back to them and asked them, so why did you behave in this way when you were expecting you to behave in this way? Yeah? And through that is when they realized that people were using it, but for something else. So through actually analyzing that data that they got through that pilot, they were able to realize that people were using it for actually to send money to each other. So then you realize there's a big opportunity for this. So right now, I see Chura maybe, yeah? So right now, you may be looking at your products as switching between one airtime company to another. But if you look at your data, it may tell you a different story. It may be able to tell you maybe people are using it. So if more analysis needs to be done out of this. Sometimes just talking to people and not looking at what they're saying versus what the data is telling you can actually give you a wrong picture. So I guess that's the only thing you can say around the test marketing. For commercialization, the most tricky part of all of this, because especially when you're an innovator into an industry, you're the first ones to market, you're the first ones to actually start selling that product. How do you price it? How do you put a value on your product? It's very tricky, very, very tricky, especially, so for instance, there's a lot of data analytics going on in it. How do you put a value on data when there's no one else doing the same thing, especially in this market or Africa, whatever. So very tricky part, which most of the times, I guess the approach are normally taken around commercialization is around what inputs have you put into your product? What would be your break-even point for your customer, and what will be enough for you to be able to go to the next stage? And I like the approach for trialing it out at a lower price, and then you see what happens to those customers. And actually asking them, how much will you pay for this is a good point to start with. But you have to look at making your product commercially viable. You can't undersell your product, especially if you know it's value. That's when you end up other people coming in who are not fast movers and making more profits than yourselves. Do you have any questions on this? Yeah, so interesting. I'm actually doing that right now with one of our clients. So what we put into the inputs into this would be, okay, so your inputs. So basically, what are your capex? Like what investments are you going to put into development of that product? So for instance, if you have software license costs, if you have hardware costs, like if you need to buy servers, if you need to buy storage, you need to factor those in. You need to factor in resources. So how many developers do you have on, who your support staff, your resources, how much you pay them, all of that. You need to factor in any marketing you're going to do. etc. So those are your capex costs. Then you need to look at your operational costs, which is your OPEX costs. So your operational costs would be, again, any licenses that you need to put in every year, so yearly licenses. These could be one-off licenses. It could be operational, so your people, salaries, lighting, rent, if you're outside in a business space of your own. So once you have all these, yeah, there are different approaches. You could either say that I want to recoup my investment in 12 months, yeah? So you want to be able to get into 12 months to be able to get your money back, yeah? So in 12 months, so let's say all of this is 100,000. Obviously, this is really small. This is another 100,000. So this is how much you spend every year. So your initial investments, you could either, so say you get an investor and they do that reviewing fine, so that's done. Then all you have to do is you want to be able to sustain your business. So you take your operational costs, you divide it by 12 months, then you can be able to get what is the per user value for software. What value do you need to charge to each and every user to be able to get your money? So you need to get down to per user cost. In some cases, you want to do this and this, or you don't have any investment. So you need to be able to get up for everything. So you have to add your capex costs plus your OPEX costs for 1 year, because you want to recoup your investment in 1 month, in 12 months. Divide by 12 months, divide by 12 months, then you can be able to know how much per month you need to make to be able to get your money back. So you can assume maybe you need to do 10,000 transactions, so your per transaction cost will be based on that. So it will be like your costs over the number of months, and then maybe assume a number of users. Then you can get your per transaction cost. Yeah. The other way is look for your competitors. And actually, you have to do this as well. You need to find out what your competitors charging out in the market in other places, and or what is a similar product and what cost do they charge. Especially when you're looking at end user type of services. So for instance, you guys, that's really key in terms of what are people more likely to pay for a transaction. And if you can get feedback from people, you run this past them, but you need to do your own internal calculations. Otherwise, you don't know whether you're going at a loss or whether you're making money. So this market is really price sensitive. People will move from one service to another depending on cost. It doesn't matter the functionality. But yes, so this is how it's. This is how it's a question. Yeah. Anything else on here you want to discuss? Anything else? Okay. So we've talked about this. What are your sources of ideas? It could be search for new product ideas. It could be internal sources, customers, competitors, distributors, suppliers. So there are very many different sources for ideas. So your process to spot good ideas and drop poor ones. So right now, as you continually innovating your product, what do you do to be able to find out if your idea is a poor idea or a good idea? Have you developed a kind of conceptual matrix to be able to tell you, we need to drop this idea for now? It doesn't fit with our vision for this company, but we'll park it for now. Can anyone share what you do? No? Okay. So these are some of the things you can look at in terms of if you find an idea and you want to try it out, but you want to first test it before you spend 2 months developing something, then you realize, okay, this is not going to work. You can be able to create some factors depending on the vision for your company, depending on what you're looking at, trying to do. So you can look at your market size for that product, the product price, development time costs, manufacturing, rates of return. So if you do these calculations and your rate of return is not as great as the next one, the next idea, then probably you should spend more time on the other idea than this one. It's always the same one. But it'd be good for you internally as a company to be able to create a kind of methodology for you to be able to determine whether to drop an idea or pick it up. So this is this is the same thing. Developing product ideas. So this is another way. You can do concept testing on set target customers, then you choose the best one. So this could be one approach to do that. So this again is the marketing strategy. So each and every product will have a completely different way of marketing. I'm not really a marketing professional, but from what I've seen, every time I give the marketing guys a product, the strategy is completely different. So for instance, a product that's targeted towards an enterprise customer, you probably wouldn't do TV ads. You probably wouldn't do billboards, because it's probably some of these products need to be explained face-to-face in person. So maybe what you do is develop a platform. So you develop your brochures, your data sheets, and everything to be able to pass ideas to the customer. Plan product positioning. So for each and every product, you need to know who's your target market, who are you, how you're going to position it, depending on the market segment you're looking at. So it could be that your software as a service product could be used in retail, it could be used in enterprise, it could be used by someone at home just wanting to access some kind of cloud platform or something. So the positioning for each and every one of these people is different. Also, depending on who they are, a university student versus an engineer versus an IT professional looking for a development space, the positioning would be different, the pricing would be different, depending on who they are. So you need to look at some of those. So this is just the overall plan. Your short term would be your product plan price, the distribution, and the marketing budget. The long term would be sales and profit goals, marketing mix strategy. So when starting out, you probably won't look at your profit goals and things like that, because those things actually hamper your innovativeness. Maybe someone should be looking at it, but from a company perspective, it would be very hard to start looking at targets for sales and things like that at the beginning. You need to be looking at what products can be delivered the correct and the best service to the customer initially. So this is another way of looking at it in terms of doing business analysis to be able to review your product sales cost, your profits projection, see if they meet company objectives. So you either eliminate the product concept or you move on with it. So the profit, the sales margins and everything would be the way of being able to decide whether to move on with an idea or not. So there are different ways of marketing, which you guys have mentioned. The standard, which is a full market campaign, Safaricom style, with a small number of representatives. Controlled test market is a few stores that are agreed to carry new products. Simulated test market, so you test in a simulated environment. So for instance, like you're saying in C4D, it's a simulated market. So you can actually ask people to try it out and put on a hat of this type of customer. So those are the different ways. So in this, where would you guys say you are right now with this in this chart? So product development, introduction, growth, maturity. What would you say you're here? Maybe here? Yeah, maybe somewhere there. Yeah? So this tells you need to start thinking about your sales. You need to start looking at, initially you invested money, how are you going to start making from your initial investment? And something which I struggled with was working in product development is I never did finance, I never did any kind of advanced mathematics or whatever, accounting. Was trying to figure out, why do I need to be thinking about money now? You guys sort it out. We'll just develop the product, you sales people sort it out. But at the end of the day, an innovation only makes sense when it starts to make profits, unfortunately, when it starts to become social impact. So unless you have huge investment, or unless you have some UN funding, something like that, you have to make it a profitable venture so your customers can continue to gain from the innovation. So, yeah. So again, so this is where we were saying beyond the introduction stage of the PLC. Probably low sales costs, a high cost per customer, because we do this math. and you only have like 100 customers, and they have to absorb all of this cost, then it's quite high. Unless you get some kind of VC funding, it's quite a high cost. Profits negative, marketing objective is more, creates product awareness and trial, and then it's the offering a basic product, price, it's use cost plus, which is what we've done there. Distribution, build selective distribution. Advertising, product awareness among early adopters and dealers. So this is the introduction stage. At the growth stage, which is where we're hoping to go, is you start having rapidly rising sales. Your costs are average per customer, so your costs start to go down, which means because your sales are rising rapidly. Your profits start to rise, and you're able to maximize profit share. And you're able to do product extension, service, warranty, all of that. Then the price, you get a price to be able to enter into the market, and the distribution, you start to build an intensive distribution channel. For maturity, peak sales, low cost per customer, high profits, and diversify brand, price to match. Decline stage won't even go through that because fields won't have that. Yes, so that's what I had prepared in terms of the presentation. Do you have any questions for that before we go into discussions? Sorry? Who are? Oh, okay. Okay, so obviously your decline in sales, low cost per customer, decline in profits, reduce expenditure, phase out weak items, cutting the price. So for this, I mostly see it's very easy it's a lot harder for a bigger company to go into this. It's a lot harder for that. But for smaller companies, or relatively mature companies, it's quite easy to see them going into a decline stage. But mostly because they're not responding to the market. They're not responding to what the customers are telling them. They're not responding to what shifts in the market. So, yeah, does that answer that? Any other questions? No? Okay. Now, if we go back to the video, so this is basically something I'm working on, and something that we're actually trying to roll out into the market. So I work at Copycat and Cisco. So it's something that we're actively trying to roll out into the market. If you look at, in terms of how do you connect unconnected devices, unconnected people, what ideas can you think of in terms of the local Kenyan market that this can be applicable and start to be rolled out? Can you think of any ideas or any? Yeah, so have you come up with one? Yeah, what areas? How it would apply to us? Just ideas, whatever comes to your mind. Whatever comes to your mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
several buses which you need to accept. And then, let's say there are several routes to interface, and you reach a bus stop and you don't figure out what the next bus stop is. You can see which, where, how far the next bus goes, and then try to
Okay.
maybe buses finish everything, so it's all essential.
Ah, yes. Mm. So you mean like you pick it up from where? Yes. Okay. Okay. So you want this parcel to be able to tell you, that's a really good idea. You want this parcel to be able to tell you I've arrived at my destination, this person's up. Yes. Okay. Cool. Any others? Right now, let's say today we are forming a company that's centered around Internet of Everything, where we want to connect devices that are not connected. The BMW example I just gave you, the bus thing that I gave you, the parcel, which is brilliant, really good idea. What else can you think of? In terms of the city in Nairobi, okay. If we run with these two, let's run with these two again. So for the buses, what sort of, how do you think we could do that? So you have your bus. How would we connect that to the internet, the bus? Anyone did networking here? So usually how it's done, you put a router. You put a router in the bus. So this router will be able to connect to some kind of central location, like a server room or data center. And this data center is then connected to an ISP. So this ISP will be providing you access to the internet. Or this router can be directly connected to your, it can be GSM enabled. So you can be able to use it like you know how you can turn your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot. So this router can be able to be turned into a Wi-Fi hotspot. So once it's turned into a Wi-Fi hotspot, everyone in the bus can be able to receive internet. Yeah. You can also be able to do digital signage. So signage to be able to show adverts. I don't know if you've ever seen any buses or taxis or anything with adverts. Yeah, you've seen them. Yeah, so that's how they do them. They send data from a router inside the bus to some kind of screen. Then you're able to see welcome to this and this city, taxis can be taken here, that kind of stuff. So the bus is connected to that. Then you have your bus stop. So the bus stop maybe you have a display screen that tells you bus number, I don't know, 33 will arrive at this time. And it also has a router here connected to your ISP. So this is basically how the connections will work. And on top of that, maybe you have an app. The app can also give you information from the bus, telling you that the bus is 5 minutes away. It can also be able to tell you that the next bus that you need to take is this one. It can be able to tell you if you want to get from town to Westlands, the bus you take. So these are the type of applications that are now, that people are now looking for in the market, that can be able to have more societal impact in terms of innovation that actually can help you in your day-to-day life. So this is how that bus will work. Yeah? So in terms of an idea, do you guys think this would work in Nairobi? Yes? Yeah? Very good point. Very good point. So the security, so you need to maybe hide them inside on underneath the on the walls or on the floor, something like that. So they need to be hidden. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else in terms of an idea? Mm. That is a huge factor because all of them operate in the circles and this one does not want this one. So it's a huge factor. So from this you can see you actually have to look at the environment around this technology. It's not just the technology itself, it's the social, economic, political environment around this technology that will make it work. For M-Pesa, for a long time, there was no regulation in the industry for mobile payments. So basically, they had a free time just launching it into the market because there was no policy dictating how mobile payments would work in Kenya. So the policy and the industry around it, you can't ignore it. You cannot ignore it. You have to look at the policy environment. You have to look at, so these are very good factors here. So these are more social, factors. What else? The financial. So who will pay for this? Because first of all, there's a bus stop. Who owns a bus stop? It's the city council. Yeah? The bus is owned by someone else. Yeah? The ISP is a different person as well. So who among all these people will pay for this technology? It's quite a challenge because the city council would just say, we're not doing this. You're putting routers on our bus stops and we don't see that. Yeah. So analyzing your entire social, economic, policy, environment around the technology is very important when you get an idea. So at this point, you could probably say this idea is great, but maybe we don't do it right now. Maybe we don't do it right now. The parcel one is different because G4S would be interested in that as a company. G4S has a responsibility to you as a consumer and can be able to add that as a value add to the consumer to tell them, you know what, you can be able to track your parcel on your phone and you can be able to know that it's arrived at this and this time and maybe add a 100 bob to the service. So that's a different one because it's very clear who exactly is going to be the end consumer. This could have greater societal good. It may be a good long-term project, but this has shorter-term gains. You get the, yeah? Okay. Can you think of anything else?
There's an idea that exists about having one
Exactly. 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 So, actually, let's from a Chura perspective. So you have your Chura. Yeah? the back end of which is now your switching of airtime, switching of your money. So you're able to interconnect the person, you're able to interconnect your maybe Airtel, airtime, your Safaricom, you have your bank, your bank account. Where is another source of money? Loyalty points. See, you don't come and card. And you're able to take this card, and when you're in this bus, you're able to access the internet while you're there, while you're walking. Like, so who's heard of the Oyster card in London? So the Oyster card is basically a public transport card. So you can use it anywhere. You go and swipe to go on the underground, you swipe to use it on the bus, you swipe to use it anywhere. So this card can be able to do everything for you. And your sources of money can be all these different areas. Sorry, that looks terrible now. But yeah, so that's a brilliant idea. And it can have your ID in there, so you can be able to use that to show your identity. Can have your medical data, all of that. Yeah. So currently, yeah, we don't have a unified card anywhere. So I'm actually surprised you guys have managed to do the Tura thing, because all these areas are very disparate. There are very many different systems. So merging them into one system is actually very hard to do. Being able to merge your bank accounts with M-Pesa, airtime, is very different. And these are different industries. Go talk to Nakumat and ask them you want to unify their loyalty points with all of these other things. It will be, why do they use that? It's not, it doesn't gain any profit for themselves. It doesn't add any much to them, any much value to them. But if this is driven through, it can't even be driven through a service provider. It will have to be driven through a very strong company, a very strong entity to be able to unify all of this with backing from some government institutions, something like that, to be able to push the idea. Because most of these people on their own have nothing to gain from doing that. But for you as a user, as a consumer, you see that. But it's very hard from a service provider perspective, retailer, it's very hard to do that. So I know, so for instance, right now you can do number portability. You can change your number from Safaricom to Airtel, all these different providers. But no one really uses it. I don't understand why people don't use that. No one uses it. But that agenda was driven by the government to do that. It wasn't driven by the service providers. They gain nothing from you moving your number to someone else. They don't really want that. So, yeah, so that's what I think. Well, what do you think?
I think the same. Right now, security is an issue.
Very true.
Because if one sector is affected, these guys will go into it.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's true. But this would be so much easier if you can go swipe and pay your buck. You don't have to go and just coin.
Just you know, it's moving and
Yeah?
it's not is it for the government?
It's government. So the government works through the London Transport Agency. The London Transport Agency is a private entity that reports to the Mayor of London, but they do that on behalf of the city. but it's a private entity. That works. But that entity does everything. It owns the rail network, it owns the bus network, it owns everything. So all they did was add the voice network.
So that is go beyond the position of these other stakeholders such as bank. You have to put your bank in my card so that you can make use of it.
Exactly. So since it's a innovation driven by the Mayor of London, it has the bigger weight. So when they go to Visa and say you need to be able to connect to the Oyster because it's the only card that is going to be used by every citizen of London. Only card going to be used. They have to. In fact, I'm not sure if they might actually be, because in such these kind of innovations in internet of everything connected, cities, all of that, the business models are very different. Because Visa would pay a percentage of what they get to the City of London. So it's a revenue share in terms of how it's implemented. So it's not purely you deploy a system and walk away like most people are used to. You invest everything and then we share the money. That's the approach that we're using. Same thing with Barcelona, the connected city. In Barcelona, it was a partnership with a private entity. So the private entity installed everything with their own cash, invested everything with Cisco. So Cisco also invested the hardware and everything. From there, you decide, okay, now you brought what? Okay, you get 10%. You own the city, okay, you get 40%. And then the private entity who runs and manages it gets 50%. Actually, how do you negotiate now with like service providers? Have you gotten to that stage where you're talking to such companies? No? That's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Sitting down at the table with the CIO of, I don't know, this huge corporation, and you as a small company coming in and trying to negotiate, and obviously they have bigger muscle in the industry to be able to say, okay, we want 90%. No, it's very hard to negotiate with these big boys because right now it's the probably easiest way to be able to take a to go to market quicker and create a bigger impact. It's the quickest way to do that. But it's also, in terms of revenue, we end up losing a lot of revenue through negotiating with them. So, but I guess the best way I found is, for instance, you bring in so a lot of times we bring in Cisco. So we bring in Cisco to negotiate with us. Cisco is huge. So they can be able to at least bring some money to the table and say, okay, us guys are, yeah, we're not just playing around. Or you bring in idea, and if IBM have given you some servers or something, you bring them in and say, okay, you just negotiate with this guys at a different level. So, but yeah, negotiation. Yeah. What part do? Okay. So right now it's more about the network. So the routers that will connect to the bus, the connection here as well, the data center. So that's all the servers, all the servers, the storage, everything that you need in a data center to be able to run the applications that you need for your connected bus or your connected city application. And we also do the ISP part as well. So we have some projects with different service providers where we will probably run this data center within their data center. Instead of having it in a separate place, within the data center. The place that we're struggling is applications. So if you guys can come up with interesting applications, we're more than willing to look at them. Because right now, so Copycat or Cisco are not in the application space. We don't do development at all. So in terms of applications, we are still looking for people to do that. Because the entire ecosystem of partners would be, you'd have your application developers, you have so this is a network, that's a backbone where everything sits. You have your engineering. So I don't know if you had in the video that was talking about sensors. So sensors can be put in, so for instance in this Windows, you put sensors on the windows so that you can be able to tell if someone left the window open. So sensors are mostly developed by our engineering partner for this. Then you have so this is the app. You have maybe advertising companies. Then for us, have managed services. These are basically, so this is where Copycat plays. So basically the ones who would be able to be doing the maintenance of these routers, be able to maintain the data center, all of that. So this is the ecosystem. Right now, this is what's missing. That's what's missing. And that's the most important part, because that's what the actual user sees at the end of the day. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Do you consider some strategy?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, like I began by saying, you can't innovate in everything. You can't be the ones doing the network and doing this and doing that. You focus on what you're good at and you acquire what other people are good at. So definitely, actually, Cisco does not own a specific applications company, but right now they're actually being ranked as an applications company, but they don't actually own any because they have acquired so many companies that do applications. So yeah, absolutely. Sure.
So that's so so the internet of things have been around for 5 years, 10 years. And the concern has always been what is the
So for the security side, obviously at the data center level, that's where security is strong. So basically you have your firewalls. So Sourcefire is a recent acquisition for Cisco. So Sourcefire basically does malware detection and prevention. So it's a very strong best-of-breed product that does the data center side of malware detection. So it's able to detect any type of intrusion into the system. So at this side, at the data center, you need to make sure that it's secure through your firewalls, through in your IPS systems, through your different layers of security, right from the security spectrum. So you're able to detect from before, be able to find out before an event happens, during, and after. So that's the whole security spectrum. So before an event happens, you can be able to detect that in Nigeria, in the last 1 hour, this Cisco switch was attacked with this type of malware. So that switch will send that information to Cisco's main security data center, and once it receives that information, it pushes that back to all the different switches around the world. So that's one way of being able to tell before an event that it's actually going to come. And during an attack, there's different ways to be able to tell. So Sourcefire is able to be able to tell you that at this point in time, we've seen that there's an email that has been opened and it's going to affect this other system. So you're able to tell that after an event, you're able to do diagnostics, you're able to do an analysis, and be able to produce a report and say, this is what we've done to prevent the attack. Yes? Sorry? Or the number of people? So right now I do the go-to-market strategy. So in terms of developing the ecosystem partnerships, so being able to know we're working with this application developer to be able to create this connected bus or this parcel. So I do the go-to-market strategy for that. I have a team leader in Copycat who's in charge of doing the product development. So once we've said we're going to do a connected bus, he's the one who will come and do the designs and be able to say, okay, these are the issues with this design, these are the problems we'll face, then be able to, then for me, my job is to make sure we develop a business case around it, check how much profit we make from it, revenue and all of that, present it to the directives, and come up with a strategy for it. So it's go-to-market and say investment strategy, maybe. So I'm mostly the one who brings in the partners for this. So we have 3 projects coming up next year, 3 really good projects. So with one mall that's going to be built in Karen, we're going to be doing the entire infrastructure, from the networking to, we're going to do signage, we're going to do actually something really cool. We're going to do a connected mobile experience. So basically where you can walk into the mall, it tells you hello so-and-so. If you're someone who's frequent to the mall, to be able to tell you hello Sarah, hello who, and be able to walk you through the mall and tell you where to go, what's happening, what events are going on, what promotions, all of that stuff. But again, don't have that application. But it's in our strategy. First, we'll build the network, we'll make it ready for it. So by September, August next year, we can be able to have that application out to the users. So it's quite close. For this stuff, the outdoor stuff, I would really be happy to have ideas on that. The one with the city-wide stuff is quite a, it would be quite a good and social kind of project to do. So if you have ideas on those, that would be really good. But in my previous life at Vodafone, I did product management. So it's less to do with bigger transformational product projects, but more to do with incremental innovations. So so for instance, Tesco, which is the biggest retailer in the UK, we developed a product that allows someone to be able to look at a screen and then try on clothes. So it takes a picture of you, and then it shows you how you look in certain clothes. So you can be able to pick them, gives you suggestions, and you can be able to check out on the screen. So such type of product is what I was doing before. So that one I was more involved in the entire idea to all of that. So with measurements, so you choose the clothes and you choose the size, then you just adjust the matrix lengths. So I don't know if you've heard of 3D rendering. Yeah, so it's able to take your picture and like do a graph of the clothes on it. So it doesn't matter, most of the time it doesn't matter your size, but sometimes it can be off a bit. So that's when it asks you to input your size. But most of the time, like maybe 80% of the time, 85% when I was still there, it was able to detect how your dimensions basically based on the picture you took. Because it's able to check your dimensions using the picture. No, there are three different cameras. Three different cameras that create one image. Cisco cameras. You did. It's really happening. It's happening.
So you said you are opening that's
Yes.
so the Cisco platform.
Absolutely. I can give you the APIs and you can test it out. Maybe we bring some routers here, some switches, try them out and see how it would work for you guys. We've tried, so internally, we mostly have network engineers. So network engineers don't care what, so they'll develop pages that look like, just very basic welcome world type of pages. They don't bother about that stuff. So being able to get applications that actually look nice, that are easy to the customer, will be quite a good thing. But I can expose the APIs to you guys. There's a Cisco developer network. Kind of similar to, so actually now Cisco is a bit more open in terms of the development. So they exposed a lot of APIs to you. Any other questions? Challenges you guys have right now? It's all good, like everything is working. All good. So,
Me and some other guys were developing, and it requires some assistance from the company. But you're wondering how do you approach Agile with Safaricom, and you give them you want them to assist you in such a way, but you also know they have both the financial and the technological muscle to just push yourself in the product.
very true. Very true. So what type of assistance do you need? Is it, do you need the infrastructure? Do you need like the data center? Yeah, the data center. Okay. From the challenge with that is from the data center perspective, they actually have a cloud platform which they're trying to push and get people to buy. They so have you had any contact with anyone? Do you know anyone there? No. I think the best way with something like that is to probably speak to not going to like the head of innovation or going to like the normal channels that people use. It's probably looking for a different channel. So for instance, if your product affects marketing or affects a different side of the business, it's probably going to people like that. Or going to talk to a techie within their first to be able to establish, do these guys have a strategy around the product that you're trying to do? And what kind of value would you be bringing to them? So you do your homework first in terms of what value are you bringing to Safaricom, to the ISP or whatever the service provider? what value do you have? So that way, by the time you're speaking and having that negotiation discussion, you already know that you have an upper hand. So I think, yeah, speak to not your traditional technology side of business, but these other people. And I could probably help you with that if you want to speak to someone on that. But I know what you're saying, it's quite hard to, because right now there's an innovation group, there's an enterprise innovation and product, there's an innovation and strategy, there's a strategy group. There's so many different outlets that it's not clear who to talk to. And if you talk to this person, will they absorb your idea and start to run with it? So you have to be very tactical in how you approach it. Probably better to go with a smaller service provider than a bigger one because they'll appreciate your idea more. Airtel, I know, has been very good in terms of this innovations. They're not as quick to bulldoze your idea. They are quite more receptive than other service providers. So smaller probably is better in the bigger guys, but yeah.
I'm not curious how you make this knowledge. So that I'm still interested in
Absolutely.
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 They must be directly involved.
Yes. Or not directly involved per se, but they must see a way that they will be able to either have a social impact photo op opportunity or an opportunity for them to be able to test some technology. So this is what I was telling you, for instance, Cisco, the CMX product, it's in Africa, it's only used in Egypt. So they have a vested interest to make sure that someone is trying out this product. So they'll actually be very aggressive in terms of negotiating on their behalf. So they have to have a vested interest. But most of the time, any product you can think of, there's an angle you can use. Whether it's CSR, or whether it's profit making, or whether it's a way for them to support the university, there's always an angle you can use, or even just mentorship in terms of you go and have a one-on-one relationship with someone at one of these big companies, and you say, I need you guys to be able to help me to do this. So, and you just have to be bold in terms of asking for what you want. You don't skirt around the issue, you say, this is what I want. There. It's a fee. Of course, I have an interest. No, yeah, absolutely. If you have something, I do still know some people in various places. Absolutely. I have a vested interest in Chiromo. I'm here for 4 years, so. Cool. Oh, are we done? Yeah? Thank you all for being attentive, and it was a pleasure presenting to you guys, and hope to speak to some of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You can give a lot of applause. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank you.
So before we end this, so don't go away. I'm sure most of you would like to contact her. So she'll be around for a short while. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.